Okay, well, so about a month and a half ago, I did a video on my ball python, Sunny, who had not eaten in 1 year. I really didn't make it public, so people really didn't know how long he had been off feed. It was certainly a shock, to say the least. I got a lot of responses. I felt like I was doing the right thing without taking him to the vet. As you can see from the hundreds and hundreds, over 1,000 comments actually, people disagree. So with this, I have to accept defeat because I took Sunny to the vet. We got his results, and today I'll go over all of the problems that he actually has hidden inside him. Just kidding! I did actually go to the vet, but long story short, if you don't want to watch the video, here's what the expert vet said. 1. Sunny is perfect. 2. Everything I did was perfect. 3. Everyone in the comments were wrong.
Did GoHerping just clickbait the video? Is this my first clickbait?
So the first very important thing I need to say is everyone that respectfully just actually wanted to help Sunny. Like, you had no obligation to try and help people that were just trying to give suggestions and be useful. I still very much so respect that and appreciate that, and I hope you continue to do the same in the future. This video is more of a told you so to the people that said things like, you're literally an abusive owner. You're so cheap, you won't take your animal to the vet. You're the reason Sunny is about to die. You're a terrible keeper, and nobody should take your advice. A vet would never suggest the things that you did in this video. You have little to no experience, and your opinion is valueless here. How dare you let your poor animal cripple away and die
just because you think you know what you're doing.
This is Sunny, the snake that now has not eaten in 14 months. And he still looks pretty good, if you ask me. If you gave me this snake and was like, how long do you think he's been off feed? I'd probably say like 2 to 4 months or so. Nope, it's been 14. And a lot of people just simply said, take him to the vet, take him to the vet, take him to the vet. So I did. I took him to the vet. Now, all of the people that I know more closely, I told them I was taking him to the vet, and they were like, why? Like, you don't seem concerned. You seem to have pretty good judgment about Sunny. I thought you said it was useless. And I agree, but I just succumbed to peer pressure and I went to the vet. So I'm gonna go over everything that the vet said and did, and what their conclusion was, what my conclusion is from that, and where we're going from the future. So to find the right vet for Sunny, I ended up contacting 7 new vets. I have been to 3 different vets in the past. I wasn't a huge fan of any of them, even though one claimed they were the best exotic vet in the state. I kind of think otherwise, based on some experiences, but putting that aside the point, the other 2 weren't necessarily bad, but they didn't have much expertise at all. So I contacted 7 new vets. 5 of them wouldn't do anything with reptiles, so some of them gave me suggestions for others. One of the vets I contacted said they would do it, but I'd have to sign a paper saying I would pay $600 before they even looked at Sunny. I didn't really want to do that. Again, I was going to the vet not for my own sake, but for strangers on the internet's sake. But then there was another vet I found. It looks like it has really high ratings, and it was suggested to me by some of the other highest rated vets in the state, which means that my video about Sunny not eating is basically supported by one of the highest rated vets, recommended by highest rated vets. Now, they haven't seen the video. I don't know if they even know I have a channel. I mentioned that I make videos on them and stuff. They probably thought I was just some pleb with like 8 subscribers, but that's fine. I mean, I look like it. If they are seeing this video, then hi, thanks for checking up on Sunny. So I go into the vet, I explain the issue. They're very surprised he's been off feed for 14 months based on his health, because he has very good health for what he is. I feel like they kind of thought it was gonna be a pretty easy procedure probably. They were gonna be like, yeah, just try this thing. But I had tried everything, because I basically went over like everything that I talked about in the video about Sunny not eating. So we're like, okay, by far the best thing you can do is go ahead and force feed him a small meal so he can have some nutrition in him. I was like, hey, I already did that. I did it in the last video. They're like, how'd it go? I was like, yeah, it was pretty easy overall. And he kept it down. He hasn't passed it yet though. So we're like, okay, we suggest that you occasionally continue to force feed because you've clearly tried everything, and I went over all of my husbandry. So my husbandry of ball pythons is now officially vet approved. Which, I mean, not gonna lie, I wasn't looking for that approval. I'm already very confident in my ball python husbandry. There are some certain Facebook groups out there that don't agree. I got added to a lot of them. So I did the video about Sunny not eating. I just got slammed by people, a lot of which were part of those groups, which apparently were kind of like gossiping behind the scenes of me, which I didn't see all that. And they were recommending me all this stuff, which counteracts what the licensed exotic veterinarian said, because I was doing it just right. And not only that, but I was doing my perfect husbandry, and then I adjusted to the husbandry that people suggested in those groups for the past 5 months. Long story short, Sunny's gonna go back to the husbandry that I think is better, even if other people don't. But basically, this vet started going through all of the procedures that I did myself, that you can do at home, aka things that you don't need to pay $65 for, which I actually think the prices were fair at this vet, which I'll talk about in a minute. But one of the first things I did with Sunny is make sure he doesn't have a respiratory infection. So how did I do it? I pulled out my wallet, I pulled out a credit card, I popped his mouth open, and I checked down there for any excessive saliva or weird textures of fluids or liquids or anything, and it was perfect. What's the very first thing the vet did? Well, I thought maybe he would have some like fancy tool to check for respiratory infections or whatever else. No, he pulled out a little medical wallet thing. He pulled out a little medical card. It was like a credit card, but I think it had some medical stuff written on it. He popped it in Sunny's mouth and he checked the exact same thing. He checked out Sunny's eyes, he listened to his breathing, he checked out his nose, all the stuff that I did myself, which I was pretty confident about. And then I was talking about, so since he hasn't lost any weight, what a lot of people were saying is maybe there's a mass in him that's taking up that weight. Personally, this didn't make any sense to me, because if there was a mass, even if he had more weight on him, it wouldn't be so evenly distributed. Like, he doesn't have a little tumor on every single inch of his body. But it would be very weird for me to have a mass. So what I did at home is I basically, he's still so strong. I basically kind of dug my fingers in there carefully on his stomach and went all the way down his body a few times for like 5 to 10 minutes. And I did this multiple times over the course of a year to see if anything was developing from his neck to his cloaca, if there were any masses in there. And I didn't feel anything. So I was like, okay, maybe the vet can do something fancy. He did the exact same thing. He just sat there for 5 minutes, feeling down the stomach. I was like, feel anything? He was like, nope. I was like, I know. I didn't say that. So then we continued to talk for a bit about all the different possibilities, which are all things that I've already done, and he clearly trusted my husbandry, which was nice. Because I know that there's gonna be clients when you're a vet that are just crazy, annoying, and like think they're right about everything. I was very quiet the entire time. I didn't want to influence anything that he was thinking or doing or saying. So I pretty much waited and I just listened for everything. Like I had to sit there for 10 minutes while he checked Sunny for mites. Anyway, he doesn't have mites, also vet approved. I'm just gonna keep saying vet approved. I paid for this experience, okay? So then I was like, okay, well, what about x-rays and blood work and all this stuff? He's like, no, he's fine. You don't need to do that. So when an x-ray didn't seem necessary, I was like, okay, look, I'm trying to prove a point to some strangers on the internet. I didn't say that. I was just like, well, just in case, let's do an x-ray anyway, which I have. Where is it? I don't know where I put the x-ray. I don't know why I printed it out. I just used so much black ink. I have some higher quality versions. He was so excited when he came back in the room from doing the x-ray, because the first thing he said is, Sunny is perfect. And that was based on, he did 3 scans. Usually these scans cost $95 each. He only charged me for 1 because he didn't even think it was necessary, and he was just curious himself what it would look like in there. And they're all perfect. He didn't actually show me the x-rays. I was like, okay, these strangers on the internet, they're not gonna believe me, I'm making it up. So I made them take me all the way through their facility to the back of the x-ray room so I could take pictures of the x-rays. And then they're like, we can just send these to you. So they did, they sent them to me, thank you very much. It says Sunny Green on there. So then on the second scan of Sunny, it was on his lower end by the cloaca, where you can see just the intestines running down to the butt. And then and right by the cloaca, you can see that little hopper mouse that I force fed last month. It made it through his body, no problem, no blockages or anything. It's just chilling there. It's fully digested, it'll come out just as per usual. It's just taking a while for some reason. But here we were, we had talked for a bit about everything that we did, how perfect Sunny looks on the outside. I made them do an x-ray that wasn't even necessary. The x-rays were done. They were still amazed at how strong and chubby, well not chubby, but how almost normal weight he is for a snake that hasn't eaten in 14 months. And then they also came back and he was like, okay, well, he definitely doesn't have any of these like 6 things that I can't pronounce. I still don't know what they were, but he doesn't have them. If If it has a lot of letters in the name, he doesn't have it. And I would say it's a pretty good sign when a vet that can make a lot of money off something very easily, specifically, basically declines to do something, because then the next thing was like, what about blood work? And he was like, no, it's completely unnecessary. Like, just don't do blood work. He's look at how healthy he is. We've done all this stuff. You've already made me do an x-ray. He didn't say that. I'm adding stupid commentary to this just to make it more interesting. It was a little more medical than this. But basically, I would have really had to force them to do blood work, which if I thought he needed blood work, I would have made them do it. But like I said before going to the vet, I thought it was a waste of time from the start. So before long, me and Sunny were on our merry way, $150 more poor, which it would have been over $300 if they actually charged me for everything. So they're very nice for that. But to make up for that last little bit, you should have gotten an ad right there. If you didn't, then you either have ad block or you just got lucky. That paid for the vet visit. So I was walking out there with an ego 3 times bigger because the vet agreed with everything that I said. Again, the people that were actually useful, that were constructive and DM'd me personally and were like, here's some suggestions, here's what can maybe help. That is very much so helpful and I really appreciate that. It's just all the other annoying people that think they know my snake better than I do, which I understand from an outside perspective. It might look bad if this guy's snake hasn't eaten for a year and he's just sitting there around making videos on it, putting sponsored mid-rolls in the middle of it. But also, consider it from my perspective. This is a snake that I've seen every day for 6 years. We're not like telepathically connected, but I get a pretty good idea when something is wrong with him. But the question we're all wondering, why hasn't he eaten? Like, now what? Is he just not gonna eat forever? Is he genuinely Buddha? Has he truly gone vegan like the 50 billion reused jokes were in the comments? Well, that was the thing. We were like celebrating in the exam room because we were like, yeah, my viewers are wrong. We were celebrating because he was just so healthy and didn't need anything. But I was like, oh, well, he's still not eating. So now what? Well, he gave me the advice that most people said that he would not give advice on. Keep doing what you're doing. Continue to force feed every so often. Can I disagree with that? That's already what I said from the start. How do I not go with it now? So this entire video is just kind of a petty little told you so. But also, people have been genuinely concerned about Sunny. People out there right now think Sunny's dead because I killed him by not taking him to the vet. When I did that cactus merch drop, which cactus merch is now sold out entirely. Oh, I'm not wearing it, but thank you for ordering. You bought it all. Everybody thought Sunny died. Every top rated comment or every top voted comment, it was like, oh, I thought Sunny was gonna be dead. Nobody trusts me. Yeah, this is the pettiest, most childish video I've done, but I had to do it because I wanted to. Sunny will be ditching the tub soon. I'm gonna fix up his bioactive and stick him back in there. A lot of people, if you didn't know, I had not been handling him for months just to ensure he wasn't stressed and everything. At this point, I'll still like keep it to a minimum. I won't do it much outside of videos. He said if I have trouble force feeding, I can just tube feed, but there's nothing wrong with force feeding if it's going well. And if he's keeping it down, no problem. So Sunny's been a wonderful sport. Little does he know hundreds of thousands of people have been watching his journey of him just dying. Meanwhile, he just doesn't care. Now he's gonna sleep in my shirt. So I had some other comments. I screenshotted a bunch of my favorite comments. By far the most useful information was by Ian Rogers, who said, put lettuce. Thank you, Ian. Very cool. Also, Ryan Davison said, had you tried force feeding? Which was on the video. A lot of people it was a long video. I get it, but don't comment if you're not gonna watch the video. Cough, cough. You know who I'm talking about. PETA has entered the chat. That was a good one. Dude, you are doing it all wrong. All climbing log for ball python? If I were you, I'd listen to other people's suggestions. Just admit you're not perfect and take advice from other experts. Well, today, I did just that. I finally took Sunny to the vet and got the advice from a true expert. That's not good, by the way. Oh, okay, he's completely gone. He is so done with your comments. I'm harassing people so much today. Well, the saga's not over because he still obviously has not eaten himself, eaten like on his own terms, but I'm no more or less concerned than I was before that video and before going to the vet, because it just reaffirmed everything I thought before. So that's good to see. As always, I'll try and keep you updated. You can follow on Instagram for even more updates. Again, Willow Oak Vet Hospital is the one I went to, and that's Sunny. Thank you for those that have been supportive, because I know a lot of people have been genuinely really stressed out about Sunny, whether he would survive or whatever. Which like, a lot of times my concern doesn't reflect in videos, because I'm not the kind of person to just upload a video the moment something's wrong. I want to stay like chill and collected, because there's no reason to freak you out or make the audience panic. I'm not going to manipulate you like that, like other channels, because it just feels unnecessary. We can do stuff behind the scenes without you seeing, and then inform you of it, maybe in an entertaining or creative way, so that it's not so boring and sad. I think that's how you truly make a positive channel, instead of just claiming you're positive and randomly doing stuff that isn't positive at all. But I'm really glad about all the nice messages I've gotten, and I'm really glad that I can rub it in everyone else's face.